That was quite an episode. This season is continuing to be an entertaining one. What we can confirm over this and season 1 is that the New Zealand faithfuls are very good at finding traitors, and they got another one. We saw the beginning of suspicions on Mike during episode 6, though Bailey was the only one that voted for him. But at the end of the episode, Utah let Bailey know he also thought the same, and they were going to catch Traitor. Two faithfuls that haven't necessarily been front and centre with their gameplay, but have increasingly been showing their smarts in working things out. What was a big asset in this episode was the network of people both Bailey, but especially Utah, built up. It's a very key factor to have a circle of people that you trust and who trust you. That way, when you come to them with a theory of who you think it could be, they're more likely to listen without thinking you're trying to manipulate them. Throughout the episode, we saw the faithfuls one by one talk about their suspicions of Mike. Jane was rightly weary of him, and she was included in the conversations where Mike was discussed. Mike really thought going after Whitney was the best move, and it would give him the control to be the head traitor. After watching that move, I thought Mike played that too early, mainly because of the big character shift that the faithfuls have mentioned. He seemed quiet and then all of a sudden came with his evidence that he actually could have presented the day before. Plus, I think there could have been a couple of more instances of faithfuls being banished before trying to get out another traitor. While Mike might have been successful in making that move, he is now feeling the repercussions of doing that. Mike seemed too laser focused on trying to destabilize Jane's game and her network by targeting Ben. I'm not sure why Mike thought it was a good move to make. If he was starting to feel the heat, then it would be best to revisit someone who has already been suspected. We hadn't seen Ben's name mentioned until Mike said it to Utah. This proved to be a bad idea, seeing as Utah relayed this conversation to Ben and Ciale. This goes back to having that network. We've seen that Ciale is in Utah's trusted circle. By Utah telling Ben, it also lets us know that Utah trusts Ben, or at least that Utah doesn't trust Mike enough to even consider Ben as a traitor. So with Utah aiming to go after Mike at Round Table, and Ben finding out he's a target from who other people think is a traitor, winning a shield was even more important than ever. Seeing this mission, I instantly thought of Australia Season 2, and I was hoping there wasn't going to be another Sam selfishly depleting the money collected every time he reached a checkpoint by mindlessly picking things only to chuck them. There was no one like that, only taking the opportunity to get a shield. The long distance between the silver checkpoint and where the silver needed to be placed meant there wasn't many who were able to do so more than once anyway. Ben was initially going for the shield but changed his mind, but on his second trip he took the shield. Utah and Kat also took the shield. When Paul revealed that there were 3 shields taken, Utah followed by Ben announced they took the shield. There were 2 head-scratching moments. Kat kept quiet when Ben and Utah announced they had the shield, but also Mike announced he didn't have the shield. Mike, you're not helping yourself here because you've made yourself look even more sus. If you're faithful and not everyone has revealed they have the shield, it would be in your best interest not to say you don't have the shield, so you can confuse the traitors. For me, what Mike said would make me believe he was a traitor because he wasn't worried about being murdered. The only people that aren't worried about murder are the traitors. If it was ever revealed that Kat took the shield but kept quiet, it would raise a lot of suspicions her way. It would make the traitors think twice about who to murder because they won't be sure who the third person was. I had noticed Mike was a man of little expression, but with Ciale calling Mike Dead Eyes and it being noticed how Mike Death stares at the silver when at the round table, I couldn't help but look out for it. Well, it was the last time he got a glimpse of it as Bailey and Utah got their man. Most of the votes were for Mike, including a vote from Jane, leading to Mike's banishment. This leaves Jane as the only traitor, and that means a blackmail is required. Before that happened, it was like a light bulb switched in Mark's head. Someone I thought who was playing the game terribly and was shocked that Mike was a traitor started to put things together. Mark wrote a bunch of notes which he gave to Utah as they were saying goodnight. Mark's deduction was that he thinks the last traitor is a she and that he will be blackmailed. Well, he was right. Paul told Jane to pick 2 faithfuls. They would have to plead their case in front of her, then Jane would have to pick who would become a traitor and who would be murdered. Jane was considering Bailey, Kat, Joe and Mark, but she chose Bailey and Mark. Bailey has barely been suspected, only with the odd vote against her, so she wouldn't work if Jane's plan is to use the blackmailed faithful as bait, which is where Mark would be the better choice. As Mark pleaded his case, he revealed the note he gave to Utah directly pointed at Jane being the traitor. How did he work that out? Jane chose Mark to be a traitor, but we were left with a cliffhanger as he asked what would happen. He said no. If Mark can say no, Mark being murdered would throw everyone off kilter. Mark has been a suspect from day one and was close to being banished. Suspicions did die down until his day of self-sabotage, so there are some that still can't take Mark off their list. If Mark saying no also means both him and Bailey are murdered, does that mean Jane will have to pick again, or will Bailey just become a traitor? We shall see what happens in episode 8.